Hey guys, we're back in the kitchen and we are headed for 4 great holiday recipes, some festive foods for your entertaining. And our first week is going to be Kransekake, which is a Norwegian wreath cake, which is a traditional dessert that they serve during the holidays in Norway. So we are going to begin our process of making the cake. And what we've done is we've bought a kit, and it is specific pans. There are 6 of them, and it makes 18 little rings to make your wreath cake. So we bought it from Norpro off Amazon, and we're going to begin our process, step 1 of making the cake. We're going to begin with step 1 of our Norwegian wreath cake, and we are going to put 4 cups plus 7 tablespoons of almond flour. And you can use, the recipe calls for almond meal, but you can use almond meal and almond flour interchangeably in a recipe, and I prefer the almond flour because it has a lighter consistency and a lighter color in the end. And so I've already put 3 cups of almond flour in my mixing bowl. I'm going to put 1 more cup in. That's a total of 4 cups of almond flour. And I'm going to put 7 tablespoons. And 7. I'm going to set my almond flour aside, and now I'm going to put 4 cups of powdered sugar. And this is going to feel like a lot of dry mix in here, and at first it's going to feel like it's not enough liquid to mix together and form a dough, but it will. You just keep mixing, and hence mixing and mixing and mixing. And that's why I'm doing it with my stand mixer, so that the mixer does all the work for me. Now we need an additional 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar. And that's our 3. I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to put my mixer on, and it says to whisk. So I've used the attachment for whisking, and I'm going to begin slowly because this powdered sugar is going to probably and it's mixing together. As that's mixing, I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I've got kosher salt right here in a little dish. I'm gonna get a 1/2 teaspoon and add that to it so it can whisk in there. I'm going to use a spatula just to make sure that the powdered sugar gets down in there evenly. Okay. I think we're nice and mixed, so I'm gonna stop it. Okay, I've switched to a different attachment for kneading, and I'm going to add 4 egg whites, and I've already separated my yolks from my whites, and so I'm just gonna begin with the mixer going. I'm gonna add the egg whites. I'm gonna make sure I get all of it. Again, that was 4 egg whites. And again, see, it's hard work mixing that. So I'm gonna add a teaspoon and a half. And this almond extract, it's just the most divine smell. It's one of my favorite extracts. I use it in my icings. I love it. Okay, I'm going to turn the mixer up. And without me having to do any work at all, except turn the speed, we're going to have a nice dough here. Nice and thick and mixed. Okay, I'm going to stop the mixer, take it out. Okay, I've scraped my pan and I've taken the dough and I've split it into 2 pieces. And what we're gonna do is kind of press it down and form 2 discs, round discs. And then I'm going to wrap saran wrap around it. And we are going to refrigerate for at least 2 hours. I'm gonna refrigerate overnight, and then tomorrow I will put together the rest of my wreath cake. As we are about to begin step 2 of our process, you're going to want to heat your oven to 400 degrees. We've already made our dough. I've pulled it out of the refrigerator and it's still nice and chilled and hard. And we are going to begin the process of making these rings in our Norco pans to be able to stack our cake layers. Okay, so here we go. We are going to take our plastic off of our dough. And I'm gonna have to request a little knife. I forgot to bring that.
Is this too big?
No, that's good. And you're gonna cut a section of your dough off to begin forming a ring. And now we don't need to worry about overworking this dough. You can work it knead it as much as you need to be able to form your rope that's going to go around each little ring of this pan. I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to open my flour, because it is perfectly fine to dust with your almond flour so that because your dough is just a tad bit sticky. I'm going to begin rolling a rope, and you're going to see as we do this process, and it's going to be you're going to watch for about a 1/2 inch thick on your rope. And I'm going to show you how we're going to put it in the pan, and then we're going to step away from the camera and do this process for all the rings, and we'll come back and show you what they look like. These are going to bake in about 9 minutes. And I've got about a 1/2 inch thick rope, and I'm going to put it in my pan. And you may have to gauge. I'm going to go to a little bit smaller pan. There are 6 of them again. It's going to make 18 rings. So I'm gonna move it to, and that's what you're gonna have to do, is figure out your size and pinch it together. And this is what we're gonna do for 18 rings in our 6 pans. And we will be back in a minute and show you how that looks. Okay, so we greased our pans liberally with butter, or you can use coconut oil. And we have taken our dough and made all of our little rings. We have 18 rings total, all our pans filled, and we had dough left over. So, you know, you can do fine in rolling them and using them. You'll have plenty of dough. We saved this for repair just in case we need it. So we'll see how this goes. We're gonna bake them at 400 degrees and we're gonna watch them just prior to 9 minutes. So these bake pretty quickly in a hot oven. Okay, here we go. Okay, we have our 18 rings out of the oven. We've allowed them to cool, and we've kind of put them in an order where they're organized by size so that this is easy to assemble. And I've layered the largest one on the bottom, and I've done a little scallop with my royal icing. And I'm gonna lay my next layer on there while you watch me assemble the next. And what this royal icing is gonna do, it's gonna hold our wreath cake together. And I'm gonna let you watch me pipe a little scallop. And you can do little dots however you want. I think the scallops are pretty. Okay, so we're beginning to layer, and you can see how sturdy these are. I'm gonna pick up and put on the next layer. And I'm gonna start piping my little scallops again. And we're gonna continue this process as we go along, and we'll show you the finished product in just a minute. Okay, we are finished with our Kransekake, our Norwegian wreath cake. And what we're doing this month is sharing some recipes from around the world so that you can share some diversity at home during your holiday meals and desserts. So this is the festive dish from Norway.